box, trying to...
Over the weekend, Uganda hosted its Africa Cup of Nations qualifier game against Tanzania in Egypt. This was because Uganda has no stadium that matches international standards set by the Confederation of African Football (CAF) and FIFA to host international matches. The Uganda Cranes lost the match 1-0 to Tanzania.
Neighbours are keenly fought.
This has not gone well with members of parliament who fault the sports ministry for neglecting its job.
We cannot host an appropriate games in this country because our stadiums are really shambolic.
Right, Honorable Speaker, we can't continue having this shame, pouring water on the efforts of the body called the FIFA that has really struggling to see that we reach where we are.
Our president committed that not long from now, probably in the next few years, we should also host the CAF games here and maybe other bigger games.
Right, Honorable Speaker, you know that all players, they draw their energies from supporters. That's why we lost a match.
And at the end of the day, we are going to complain that the money is spent, and yet we are spending money in hiring a stadium in Egypt, transporting our members to Egypt, and that kind of thing. Can you apologize to this country?
Madam Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Education and Sports, I apologize to the country for having made Uganda Cranes go and play in Egypt.
Uganda's only standard stadium, Mandela National Stadium, has been under renovation for a while now. This financial year, Parliament passed 97 billion Uganda shillings for the renovation of the stadium. The MPs want the Minister for Education and Sports to account for the funds. There were also concerns that the government has failed to develop other stadiums like Akibua Stadium, which would have been the option to Nambole.
Wouldn't the Minister of Finance confirm to this House and also Minister of Education whether the money that was appropriated by this Parliament has been provided to ensure that our stadiums are rehabilitated and fit for purpose and fit for games?
Now, we should have had a solution. If Nambole had issues, we would not have problems with others going out of the country.
Why should we continue to give you money when you're not putting it to use?
We gave money to Nambole, we will not budget for Nambole before we know what the 97 has done. We need an accountability of the 97 billion before we put any money in the budget.
The State Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang, said that there is no money to develop these recreational centers and that the onus is on legislators to start allocating the ministry sufficient funds for such projects.
We can no longer wait to say that donors or grants will help us develop the sports infrastructure in this country.
The Speaker tasked a team led by the Leader of Opposition, Mathias Impuga, to inspect the works of Nambole. The stadium, according to the Minister for Sports, will be ready to host the next Cranes International game in June 2023.
As at earlier my submission, I told you, much of the works is now on fittings. For instance, how long does it take you to fit chairs? With due respect, that fitting of chairs doesn't take you a month. We are looking at about 40,000 chairs. Once they are delivered in the country.
Give us the deadline.
Madam Speaker, as of now, I want to confirm that our program, as the Minister, as in particular the client, we want the stadium ready by 1st of June.
Meanwhile, Parliament allocated 6 billion shillings in this financial year for the development of Masaka recreational grounds.